My favorite servo for my remote control vehicles is the Futaba S3004 servo. Low price, as you can see. This one here cost me $13.99, and I go to screws everywhere. Very easy to get a hold of, usually range in price between $11 and $15. Comes with quite a few different swing arm options, including a disc. I've typically mounted 40-tooth gears or the 32 double bevel gears to this for rack and pinion steering systems. But let me show you why this is my favorite servo. Here I have a 9x5 Technic beam. These are very quick and easy to build with, and I absolutely adore them. And the main reason I absolutely adore this servo is because of its form factor. So what I do is I typically will take a few of the half pins with a stud on top, and I'll drop them into the four corners of the inside of this beam. Like so. And all you do is grab your servo, take the lead end, put the wires in first, and angle this guy in. And it's important to have it where the cutouts are on the top, otherwise you will not get it through. This guy will then just make a liar out of me. Nope, there it goes. Snap right in perfectly. So by adding those pins, as you can notice, there's no additional swing to the side to side. Front and back, it's locked in. And I will either, depending on the type of build, if it's a light build, I'll grab double-sided tape or maybe a command strip, stick it to here, and squeeze down. It's usually a very secure connection, keeps it from popping up. Or you can also take and use the included vibration pads, put them into the holes, pilot drill, and drill down into your beam. I know many Lego enthusiasts out there are probably screaming when I say drill it in. Well, it depends on what you're doing. So this right now is my rig currently for my Lego racer that I'm currently working on. It's in the middle of a very large redesign. I don't know if you've seen some of my other posts, but I'm working on the steering and suspension of it. So this right now is the battery box. I had an 11.1 LiPo in there, just sliding into the inside. This was my battery box. This is also the one that, if you've seen my Tumblr, where drilling out these pilot holes to mount this speed controller, that I burned up a LiPo battery. It was pretty impressive. Spent an hour and a half outside while the smoke cleared. I've replaced my LiPo battery with a 7.4, and the reason for that is I'm going with a new motor. That'll be for another day. However, I'll grab my current suspension system, and in this case, because of the forces I expect to be put on this little guy as it turns around, I've gone ahead and pilot drilled and screwed the servo motor in. The only beam that's been actually modified is the one that the servo's in. And if you look in closely, you can notice that the screws go right between the peg holes. So those are still valid peg holes for you to use for any kind of other mounting you may need to do. These screws up top are just to secure it to the swing arm on the servo. And I have the pins for steering mechanism, independent suspension, that I am working on for my front end. And I'm just going to demo this very quickly and show you how it works. Go ahead and plug this into my radio. Now that's something you may be tempted to ask, Miss Kitten, why the hell don't you just use the Lego Servo? Well, the Lego Servo is not a servo, it's a stepper motor. It runs off 9 volts, whereas the Futabas run off of 3.5 to 6. And because it's a stepper motor, it speaks a completely different language than a standard servo. It's expecting commands and certain levels of voltage. So I'll just go ahead, grab my nice handy Spectrum controller. Let's power this guy up. Power up my speed controller. And already you can see how effective this front end steering is going to be. I'm dabbling with radio control. Well, I'm not dabbling, I'm full tilt into radio control for my Legos, due to the fact that I am extremely disappointed that Lego does not offer any kind of radio control system. They have their IR control systems, which are adequate for your living room crawlers that their targeted audience will use, but well, for the adult fan of Lego, it's not enough. And they don't work in sunlight. You can take it out into a bright sunny day, you've got maybe 5 feet, a couple of meters, before the IR signal is drowned out by the sun. So you can't play with a remote control Lego power function system outside on a sunny day. But I don't believe that's what they intended. So, leaves people like me to design my own solutions. And as you can see, I absolutely adore this servo. It actually has a lot of force for as small of a motor, as small of a servo it is. It's practically bending the beams as I twist it side to side. I could see it doing some damage over time, but overall, this is the best solution I have found for my RC Lego builds, is the Futaba S3004 built in to your Legos. The star, the 6-point star swing arm is actually 4 studs across, as you can see by my 2 screws here. And what it does is it allows you to easily mount it. These are just mounting screws that come with the servo, backed by a couple of M3 split washers that fit right perfectly on the lip of your Technic beams. So there was no other modification to this beam, this 7-stud beam I'm using to create the swing arm for my steering. Well, I hope you enjoy this video, and leave me some comments if you feel like it. Thanks.